You either is or you ain't. You do or you don't. You can or you can't. Or you will or you won't. Either way, baby, a good man, well, he's hard to find. Hey, everybody, McGillbilly here.
And I'm Jamie.
Welcome to One More for the Good Guys, where we're the good guys. We talk about cigar-related stuff, for everything from blends to makers to the business to our experiences, where we're going to be, and all that good stuff. And it's obviously, this is brought to you by our cigar business called Good Guys Cigars. If it's your first time joining in with us, welcome. We hope you like what you'll be seeing and hearing here today. If you're coming back for some more cruel and unusual punishment, well, welcome back. Thank you for showing all the support you guys have. We've been doing this for a little while now, and it's still being fun, and we're still having a good time doing it, and hopefully you will too. And if you are, hit the subscribe button, the follow, and the notifications. Notifications is fairly important, considering YouTube is censoring most and just about all premium hand-rolled cigar content. So if you want to know what's going on with us and how to get more of our videos, hit that notification bell, if you will. Today, we're furthering a series that we did this past week with, well, you tell them what it is.
Can't Miss Cigar Brands.
There you go.
And this is cigar brand number 2. We started with Oliva on a previous episode. And today we are talking about
one of the most underrated brands in the business, I feel like, and probably one of the most important brands as far as history and all that stuff in the new world of cigars.
Definitely.
And that is Joya de Nicaragua Cigar Company. A little bit of history about Segoya.
It's easy for you to say.
They were established in 1968 as the first premium cigar maker in the country of Nicaragua to celebrate the 50-year-old, I'm reading a press release, but that you don't need to hear that part. They were the first. When they defected Cuba, they brought their seeds, they brought their blends, their seeds with them to Nicaragua, and became one of the, not one of the first cigar maker in Nicaraguan history in 1968. Lots of, obviously, that was after the embargo with Cuba. So a lot of really cool things in history happened with Joya, and we'll cover some of that stuff as well, with different blends and different things that we can tell you about. One of the really cool things about Joya, one of the things that they're coming out, we're getting ready to go to the PCA, the Pro Cigars Retailers of America, the big trade show down in New Orleans. And so we're going to be anxious to find a lot of the other blends, or a lot of the new stuff that's coming out this year in the cigar world. And I cannot get this to work.
And we'll be following up with an episode about that only shortly thereafter. But we wanted to continue this series. Mike said this is one of the most underrated brands. In my opinion, it is the most underrated brand. Certainly of the big boy brands, the ones that have been around, like you said, since the beginning. And realistically, everything they make's great. I've never had one. I was like, they're all good.
Yeah. Give me just a second.
Which is the purpose of the series, is for you to be able to walk into or walk up to our trailer and say, hey, show me what you got in Joya de Nicaragua, or show me what you got in Oliva, and everything that we're going to hand to you, everything we're going to hand to you is going to be good anyway. But if you, for some reason, decided or were out of town and had to buy from somebody else, these brands are where you'd want to start with, hey, let me try one of those. Is the internet down?
I don't know. It ain't doing shit.
You just got through bragging about how good the website is, and it just took a dump. Crazy.
I'm telling you. Give us a second, folks. We'll punch. But at any rate, Joya de Nicaragua's got a lot of new things coming out this year that we are excited about seeing. One of those is one of the new blends is the Joya Red, White, and Blue. This is going to be a big thing for, and of course, as soon as it pulls up, it won't do it. It's going to be a big thing in the cigar world for lots of people are going to be coming out with, this is going to be the 250th year of our,
the birth of our nation.
Birth of our nation. Thank you.
I found a little blurb on it. The Joya Red, White, and Blue, for example, is coming out in June, just before the, obviously, July 4th celebration. And it is Ecuadorian Habano wrapper over binders and fillers, Nicaraguan binder and fillers, of course, Joya de Nicaragua. It's limited to 500 boxes of 10 cigars, so they're only going to make 5,000. And they're going to show it off at the PCA, so maybe we'll get to have a box or two of those.
Yeah, that's one that I'm looking forward to. There's going to be several other brands that are going to be doing stuff like that to commemorate the birth, the 250-year birthday. And Joya really does, they really do special cigars really well. One of the one of the first special cigars that I bought, and they only made 1,000 of these, was the Dos Cientos, which is in the Obras Maestro collection, if you will. But great cigar. And the other one that I'm really excited about is that they're coming out with they have a blend called the Classico, which was one of their first blends. And we were talking about history. This one is called the Classico Original Green Room Selection. And in 1968, the first premium cigar factory in Esteli, Nicaragua, opened its doors. And in the 1970s, the White House, that was the official cigar of the White House. So when you went to, if you were a dignitary and or a public leader, you got invited to have a cigar at the White House.
Or if you're Monica Lewinsky.
Long before that.
Okay, well.
Smart mouth. Yeah, see what you did to me there. But at any rate, Joya de Nicaragua was the cigar that she smoked. And this one is going to be a 6x54 double perfecto, features a Connecticut shade wrapper over Nicaraguan binder and fillers. And it will actually be the same wrapper that they put on this bad boy right here, the Numero Uno cigar. This was one of their original blends as well, and was only made for dignitaries and public officials to smoke when they came to Nicaragua. And they came out with this blend again in 2020, I believe it was. Only did a limited number of those, and we have a few left over from that original 2020 year run, which in this size, which is basically a true Churchill size, these are unicorns. You'll never see them again. So we're excited to say the least. Some of the big news, Drew Estate used to handle all of the
distribution.
Thank you. For Joya de Nicaragua, and they have came out and done that on their own now. So that's exciting news for them, and I think we're going to see. More and more from those guys as time goes on. That's just basically a prediction, but great cigars, and they've got everything from stuff that are good for a beginner to the cigar, like the cigar I'm smoking. This is the Joya Silver. It is Ecuadorian Habano Maduro and a Mexican San Andres binder with a Nicaraguan filler. This is a perfect transition cigar.
Look at you using a V-cut too.
Yeah, I had it handy, and I thought I hadn't used it in a while. But these come in boxes of 20. They're great cigars, and what I mean by transition cigar, if you're someone who likes something that is generally a little bit milder, and you think the only selection that you can have is Connecticut shade wrapper stuff, try a Joya Silver. This is about a 3 or 4 out of 5 or out of 10, I would say. It's right down the middle of the road, medium in strength, and a very, very tasty cigar.
It's box pressed too, and it's not one that really bothers me box pressed. I really like this one.
Yeah, in 2020, it got, I think, it made the top 25 list with Cigar Aficionado. I can't remember exactly what it was now, but great cigar. And man, these are affordable.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Fantastic smoke. It's one of our group of cigars that we recommend out of the Joya line. Can't Miss Cigar Brands. It's probably the first one that we gravitate to, that and this next one that we're going to show, as far as, hey, this is an everybody cigar. The Joya Silver is an everybody cigar, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, beginner.
I think, like I said, I think it's a perfect, and it is good for everybody. And I think it's a perfect transition cigar if you're wanting to try different wrappers.
You want to kick it up
that
a notch.
Doesn't have the Connecticut shade wrappers.
Yeah. Another one, as you pull it up there, this has been super popular, and this is new to Good Guys Cigars, and one more for the Good Guys. Very new. And you can tell us about it, but I'm going to show it to the camera and the folks at home. This is the Joya Cabineta. And if you can see there, it's got 2 different wrappers on it, and it's not a barber pole. It's where when one wrapper stops, the other wrapper begins. And Mike's going to tell you about that one.
Yeah.
This is probably the one that we've sold the most to.
It's so
as
approachable.
A transitional. It's even more probably approachable than the silver.
You know, it's probably going to be like a 2 or 3, where the other one was a 4 to a 5. This is a 2 to 3 on strength wise. Very creamy, very sweet. But you're still going to get some of that pepper, not a whole bunch of it, but you're still going to get some of that pepper and spice from the Nicaraguan tobaccos. It's an Ecuadorian Connecticut shade wrapper, along with a Nicaraguan Criollo Maduro wrapper on the over Nicaraguan binder and fillers. And so you can have the best of both worlds with that. I honestly thought this might be a gimmicky cigar when I first seen it and started. Actually, I was doing some research for us for an event, because we were doing an event where we were doing some different types of barber poles. And we were looking to which we didn't wind up doing, but we got close. But nonetheless, I was doing the research and it showed this cigar on there of having dual wrappers. And lo and behold, I think I was coming back from a gig one night, and you had asked me to stop down at one of the newer brick and mortar stores that had just opened. And they had a box. Yeah, it was a liquor store / cigar. And they had a really nice selection and all that stuff. But I stopped in there and they had those. And it was fresh on my mind because I'd been researching it. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to buy one of those. And I bought a couple. And I came home and smoked it. And I was like, man, this is a winner.
Yeah.
This is a winner. They're in great sizes. They're in very traditional sizes. The Robusto, like we have, is 5x50. And we also have them in a Toro, which is a 6x50. And just really good cigar. Somebody don't want to have or spend a lot of time on they don't want to commit to a lot of smoke time. That's a perfect size for them to try, and that can last you 35 to 45 minutes depending on how you smoke it. But very, very approachable for new smokers, which thankfully we get a lot of.
Yeah, and I guess this one will be a good transition because I didn't realize that was because that's got an Ecuadorian Connecticut wrapper, and it transitions into the same wrapper type that's on this. So it's kind of like a cross between a Antonio Connecticut and Antonio Grand Reserva without as much kick, right? Because it's basically the same kind of thing. The next one
is meaning.
Oh no, yeah. The next one we're talking about here is the one I'm smoking today, and this is the Antonio Grand Reserva. And this is in the Grand Consul size. And this is my favorite of the Joya stuff size-wise. I just love this size. And apparently they're coming out with a Connecticut in a special edition in this size. But the Antonio family has this cigar, the Dark Corojo, right? And one of our favorites that we ran out of, or we'd have one to show you, and that's the Antonio Connecticut, which is your favorite, probably Connecticut, day-to-day Connecticut.
It is definitely my favorite.
Yeah. And this is also a Nicaraguan.
I smoked the last one just the other, 3 days ago.
Yeah. This is a Nicaraguan Criollo.
Sunday, I smoked the last one.
Sunday.
Watching the Masters.
Nicaraguan Criollo wrapper, Nicaraguan binder and filler. And this one is, as you like to say, big boy tobacco, right?
Yeah. It's full of man tobacco. That one is.
And I tell you, I've gravitated away from larger ring gauges, but because this one is a Bellicoso, combined with a 60, I think it's a 4.5 by 60. I think that's right.
Yes.
And, man, I just love the size. And boy, this is one of those cigars that I wouldn't hesitate to give to anybody that has been smoking a long time and just say, hey, try this, and if you don't like it, you don't know shit from apple butter. Kind of how that would go down. But man, the Antonio series were really, really high on at Good Guy Cigars.
Yeah, they as he said, that's a Criollo wrapper and the Nicaraguan binder fillers, and they actually age those. They age that binder, They age the fillers an extra 5 years. So I think with that little bit of extra age on it, it helps balance it out to where it's not just blow your head off strong.
Yeah, because it's still strong.
It's strong. Yeah. No, this is definitely this is probably like a 9 on the strength scale. They also have them in, I'm with Jamie. I like the Grand Consul size, 4 3/4 by 60. They also carry it in a Robusto Grande, a 5.5 by 52, and they have another favorite size of mine is this one that's a 6x54 in a Bellicoso. Really, really top-notch cigars. And the shining thing about all three of these cigars, well, all five of them that we have here in front of us, 6, including the Antonio, Connecticut. They are a supreme showcase of what Nicaraguan tobacco tastes like.
Especially this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talked about the Uno before. It is a wonderful cigar. We've talked about it several times on this channel in past episodes. We've smoked it on past episodes. You can find out a whole lot more about those by checking out some of those previous. But Ecuadorian, Connecticut, binder, filler, Nicaraguan.
As good a Connecticut smoke as you're going to find.
These were, like I said, originally blended for world leaders and handed by Nicaraguan ambassadors on official missions around the world. And in 2020, they came out with a Obras Maestras collection, and this was the first one of it. And if you're lucky enough to get your hands on some or know somebody who has them in stock, you should definitely try one. They are a super duper Connecticut cigar. And you kind of have those Connecticut cigars that are your typical Connecticut. And then you have those not your grandpa's Connecticut's. This one is definitely, it's not your grandfather's Connecticut either, but it's not quite to the extreme on the power side.
Like the Antonio, Connecticut would be.
Yeah, and Connecticut's get a bad rap a lot of times because a lot of them can be very, I'll say drab is a good word. They can be very they can have a real lack of flavor for a lot of folks, but the Uno is definitely a full flavor cigar with a Connecticut shade wrapper.
Yeah.
And super duper.
I'll say this, the Uno, when we first tried them, you had picked up a box somewhere local and gave me one of them. And at that time, this was the best Connecticut shade wrapper cigar I've ever had. And it's so close with the Atabey that it's really, depending on how your mood, but these are fantastic. There is word that these are going to be continued, but this is one of the original batch. So that is, one of a kind or like 12 of a kind, because we got 12 left. Something like that.
Yeah. So if you've not had one and you'd like to try one again, it's a unicorn. They're not going to be, as far as we know, they're not going to be made in that size again. But wonderful, wonderful cigars.
Certainly not going to be made with 2018 tobacco.
No, that's for sure. And I'll tell you something else too that I have learned about that cigar in particular. Now, we know this about cigars in general, but that cigar in particular, and Connecticut's, I feel like this is true. The faster you smoke on a Connecticut, and especially this cigar, I think the worse your experience is going to be.
Definitely.
Connecticut's get very bitter when you smoke them too fast.
And they'll get hot.
Yep. And it'll get bitter on you in a New York second. And the Connecticut shade wrapper, whether it be Ecuadorian or U.S. Connecticut shade, will oftentimes have tendencies of having some already natural acidity to them. So if you're smoking one of these and or try it with your next Connecticut cigar of whomever's brand or blend that you're smoking, take your time with it and let me know if it's not true that I promise I think you'll have a better I promise you I think you'll have a better experience by
you'd be better off for having to
that.
relight it a couple times and then smoking it too hot. That's for sure. Yeah. And, it's a luxury smoke. It's not not your grandfather's smoke for several reasons.
Yeah.
One, because it's a luxury smoke, and the next one is kind of too. So, so many good blends, just quality product all the way around. And do not get the love they deserve. And I guess those colored series are probably, would you call that their most popular stuff? The red and is that what?
I don't know. I don't know if I would say that's their, I have a Hoya. I've had the Hoya red. I have had the Antonio Dark Corojo, which is a really great cigar. But it's stout. I mean, they say in there 6 out of 5.
Which
in strength.
That's on their website too.
That's off of their website. It is the embodiment of Nicaraguan power. Dark, oily, full body flavors. It's complex. And it's all made out of locally cultivated mature tobacco. Nicaraguan Corojo, it is oscuro in color, which just means dark. So Nicaraguan binder and filler. If you thought about that cigar, let's say you had something comparable in a Maduro Corojo. If you've ever smoked the Gran Habano Maduro Corojo, Gran Habano Corojo Maduro number 5. Boy, it's a mouthful, isn't it? It is much like that cigar, but more powerful. And you're perfect, and this is going to sound crazy, because, a lot of times we'll give pairings of alcoholic spirits and beers and different things. But if you ever have an Antonio Dark Corojo from Joya de Nicaragua, get yourself a big, cold, regular Dr. Pepper.
Trust us on this.
It's out of this world. I'm telling you, it is so good. There's something about the earthiness of the in those 23 flavors of Dr. Pepper. It's really super good.
Dark fruit. It's the basis of Dr. Pepper's prune juice.
That's right. Yeah. Let's see here. What else have I had that we can tell you about? Certainly the
natural. There's a natural too, which is like the Grand Reserva blend, but not as dark.
What are you talking about?
That one.
Yeah, the original.
Yeah.
I kept looking for the word natural.
Yeah.
This one is, they have an Antonio in the original blend. It was released over 15 years ago as a tribute to the power and the essence of the true Nicaraguan puro. That made Joya de Nicaragua the most sought after cigar in the United States in the 1970s during the post-Cuban embargo. It is a Criollo wrapper with Nicaraguan binder and fillers. I have had it as well. It is good, but I do prefer the Gran Reserva, just to my taste. super good. All of that Antonio series is great. The Cabanetta, the Silver, the Joya Black is a good cigar. I've enjoyed it too. If you can think of it, I would say a good comparison of the Joya Black is almost it's almost like a less powerful Liga. It has that full flavor. It's not as strong in strength as far as the nicotine goes. But still a good cigar. Got some an earthiness to it, but super balanced. I don't think it's one of their. Now I'm just totally not making this up, but I don't see that it would be one of their. You don't see it out a lot, so I don't think it's one of their most popular blends. But I have had it, and it is enjoyable, and I think they make it. Let's see if they show sizes. Yeah, I had it in the. They have a double Robusto and a 5x56. I had the regular Robusto size, 5 1/4 by 50. Good cigar. The Joya Red, I have had before. I think there's one over there in the American flag humidor. Nicaraguan Criollo, but it is a Claro, which is color, which means light. They're showing it like a 2.5 to 3 out of 5. Spicy and robust. I would say that it's been a while since I've had one of those, so I don't know. I can't share too much on that because it's been so long I can't remember. I have had it in the half Corona size, which is 3 3/4 by 46, and I have had it in the Robusto size as well. So
one thing to appreciate about Joya too is that they don't overwhelm you with selection.
Mm-hmm.
Right? What have they got? 30 or 14 different things, 15 maybe. And they're distinguishable. You can tell the difference in them. Mm. You know, it's Antonio's marked clearly on the band. If you're listening, this will be a good time to.
Yeah, and all their labels are they feature that classic their logo with the tobacco leaf. And the Classico, let's see. Okay, Classico. This will go back into that green room thing that they're coming out with the new shape. Classico Original was the very first Nicaraguan Puro exported from Nicaragua and the only brand to have ever been officially recognized as the country's national cigar. It is currently the best-selling cigar for the Joya de Nicaragua and European market.
Ah, well.
So there you go. Woody and delicate.
Delicate. Although it's not a Puro because it's got an Ecuadorian Connecticut wrapper on it.
Yeah.
So maybe at one time it were.
Yeah, probably so. They make it in several different sizes.
Man, I hope.
From a Viante, 8.5 by 52, which was probably more like a double Corona or a
fishing pole.
A series. Yeah, broomstick.
Jeez.
All the way down to, I'd say they have those, picolinos, 4 1/8 by 30. So all the way
they got
down
a lot of different
to
sizes in that one.
cigarillo size.
It's probably their best selling smoke here too. Although I haven't seen a lot of those.
No, I haven't. I haven't seen hardly any of these out in the wild around here for sure.
I hope to goodness that this introduction of the Connecticut Antonio in this Grand Console size is a indicator of things to come, because this is again, fantastic size. So is this aimed after the other Florida?
I don't know. This is called Florida Nicaragua. Is again one of the oldest brands and provides an everyday smoke to suit any occasion. For many years, it has only been available in Northern Europe, but now has a worldwide presence. So
it's like it comes in a bundle.
It is a bundle cigar. So I would imagine, maybe that's there. And it only comes in one size, a 5x50 Robusto. It has a Nicaraguan Habano Criollo double wrapper with a Nicaraguan binder, Nicaraguan filler. Let's see if we can find some of those down there. Try those out. I've never had them before. I'm certainly, that's a testament right there of what we think about this brand is I'd buy, several bundles of those just to have, because no one else around here I've ever seen it. And I have had nothing from this brand that has ever disappointed me.
And that's why it's on the Can't Miss Brand episode.
Well, would you look what you did there?
Look what happened.
The big brain on James.
Yeah.
How's your
Oh, it's fantastic. It always is. It's just,
I've been yapping so much, mine's not.
What you talked about with smoking slow and deliberately on Connecticut applies to every smoke, really.
It does.
And this one is really one that you should pace yourself with, because, if you haven't eaten, if it's hot outside, this one could get ahead of you real quick. So, but man, it's just look at the construction on that thing, man. It's just gorgeous. Perfect. This size is fantastic, man. I really hope this is my favorite size, period, of any cigar, period.
And you think, with it being 4 3/4 by 60, you'd say, well, my God, I'm not a big ring gauge person. That's why this one is so special, is it has all that mature tobacco that's been aged the extra years inside of the 60 ring gauge part, but it is a bellicoso in shape, so it don't feel like you've got a huge, one of those big, huge ring gauges. The mouth feel is really good on it.
Right.
You don't feel like you're, trying to smoke a gutter full of tobacco.
Yes.
A downspout full of tobacco.
Yeah, good.
With it being so fat. I've been a fan of this Joya Silver since way back. And we finally, as we were building our business, we finally started carrying it as a brand. And it has been well received by all of our clientele. If you like that, there's enough earthiness to it, but there's also enough chocolate. There's also enough spice to let you know it's still Nicaraguan tobacco. To let you know it's still a Joya, the Nicaragua stick.
How's the V-cut going with it?
That's good. Right? Yeah. Yeah, I actually got this, we might have to try to do I may have to try to do a short on that. This is a wote, a wote, Awote. I don't know what it's called. AWOTE. I got a real fancy schmancy, probably about a 12 count humidor that these people made, and this lighter came with it, and it is a single torch.
Large single torch.
Yeah, it works really good. Even on some of the, I wouldn't probably use it on a 60 ring gauge, but it's also got a combination. It's got a V cutter in it, and it's just pretty handy.
Yeah.
I prefer, and it works good. I prefer a straight cut. But yeah, it's not bad.
Space was limited. That's why
Well, it was the first thing I seen.
Yeah.
And we do get quite a bit of requests for V cuts.
Yeah.
I think some people like it mostly because it's you don't get as much schmuckus from the tobacco itself, which I don't mind.
And it's probably the most what's the word? The most dummy proof cutter because you just put it in and cut it.
Yeah.
Now I've seen a lot of people force it in there. Don't do that. But if you want to unravel your cap typically.
I have done it both ways, and I prefer, if you're going to use a V cut, especially on a box press, I prefer using the V cut going from side to side, from left to right of the cigar.
The long edge.
Versus going straight up and down with the band. I feel like that gives you more coverage.
That probably does.
And that helps with more coverage. That helps smoke intake, and it also helps temperature.
Yeah.
I think by keeping it cooler. But yeah, Joya de Nicaragua. If you haven't had them, try them. Like I said, if you're afraid, start out with a Cabanetta. Great cigar. Sweet. Good for anybody. We give these to newbies all the time. We had a guy come up the other night who wanted one, and he's like, I only got about 30 minutes. I like the other one. He had talking about another brand. He was talking about one of the United sticks, and he said, but I'd like to try something different. Have you got something that might be a little similar? And I said, well, it's sort of similar. I said, but this is one, I think, by all accounts of everything you're saying, this is something that's going to be right up your alley, but it's going to be different, and you're going to get basically 1.5 cigars out of one. And I gave him one of these, and he came back up about mid-smoke and thanked me for recommending this particular one for him. It's like it's a perfect selection, perfect amount of time, and so on and so forth. So,
and we're going to have to reorder them because we've been really selling them.
Yeah, we've sold a lot of them.
It's a great brand, can't miss brand. Come and see us. And if in the unlikely event that you really have to buy somewhere else, Joya is one of those where you can safely say that everything you get from them is probably going to be good.
Well, and you can also safely say that just about everybody is going to be carrying them. Right?
Yeah, correct.
Like we said with Oliva, you can always find them. So if you're looking for, you could be in Sheboygan or Poughkeepsie, and you might find them. You can be in Knoxville, or you can be in Huntsville. You're gonna, if there's a cigar shop around, a true tobaccolera or tobacconist and a cigar shop that carry hand rolled premium items, you're gonna find a Joya of some sort. So from the Cabanetta to the silver, to the special releases blends, to the Uno, all the way up to the more fuller flavor more powerful cigars all the way up to the Grand Reserva and the Antonio line. And don't sleep on that Antonio, Connecticut. Maybe we can put a picture of one up here or something to show what it looks like. But that is my favorite day-to-day Connecticut. It really is. And every time I smoke one, and that was actually from a Christmas, one of those was from a Christmas present from that last one was from.
Oh, was it?
And that was 2 years ago.
At least, might have been 3.
So I forget how good they are because the humidor stuff that I have here at home or here in the honky tonk is probably 80% is stuff that I like.
Yeah.
It's filled with the stuff I like.
Which it should be.
Yeah. and the other 20 to 30%, we'll say, is stuff that we try, that we vet, that we say we like or we don't, because we're also trying to always find new things to bring into Good Guys Cigars. So
definitely.
What do you think?
I think that Joya is also one of those brands that every size I've ever had and all of them are good.
Yeah.
And that's a rare thing, really. I know that I've had several sizes in these. I've had multiple sizes in the Antonio, Connecticut. I've had 2 sizes in the Cabinetta. Uno, just that one size. So, but don't be afraid to experiment with different sizes with this brand too. So if you're, they're not going to carry all 12 sizes or whatever the hell it was of the Classico. Just grab you one.
Yeah. Yeah. They're all good. The Robusto and the Silver's great. The Toro's great. I've had both of those. Robusto, Toro, and the Cabinet is good. Yeah. I don't think you can go wrong.
And I think
3 sizes in that's good.
Yeah.
So in the Antonio and then in the Connecticut, the Antonio, Connecticut, we've had Robusto, we've had Toro, we've had the Bellicoso. All 3 of those have been great. So
yeah. Also, not your grandpa's Connecticut. But you use that introduction every time we sell one. I just think that with all the new blends that we're bombarded with, which is great. Hey, we like trying new stuff, but there's something to be said for old stuff, original stuff, and this brand lines up with that philosophy for sure.
And they're still making them for a reason.
That's right, and we're still smoking them.
Yeah, and if you can't find your favorite, if you are somewhere where you can't find your favorite XYZ 1, 2, 3 ABC cigar, the boutique brand that you normally smoke. These larger, bigger legacy brands have stuff across their portfolio that is good and you can count on to be good. You're not wasting your money by
right. And another thing too, and kind of, I guess, my final point to make about them is that it's a brand that you could just smoke exclusively and get a very wide flavor profile. I don't think they make a Cameroon wrapper stick, but otherwise, all over the board, from mild to blow your face off. So you've got a full range, full spectrum from strength and flavor profile from 1 to 10 or 11, as they're saying.
Yeah, and if you really want it stout, that dark Corojo, it's a great cigar. I've had it in 2 or 3 different sizes as well, and I've liked all of them. So that's it about that. Can't miss brands. Joya de Nicaragua, one of the most overlooked in a lot of ways of the big legacy brands, and
it's strange too, right?
Yeah.
I guess they're not sexy, right? It's not the sexy brand right now, but packaging's great, quality's great.
I felt like it was just,
I just think they're overlooked.
Yeah. So try one if you like to know more about Joya de Nicaragua. You can visit our website or you can visit theirs. And you can find out more about these cigars and more that we'll be smoking in the future, or we have smoked or reviewed in the past. All that being said, let's be kind to one another. It doesn't cost a dime to be kind, but there's always a price to be paid for cruelty. You want to do another one?
Sure.
You heard it here first. One more for the good guys.
I'll be gone in the morning before the sun comes up, with me and my weenie dog and my pickup truck. Either way, baby, a good man, it's hard to find. I said, now either way, baby, a good man, it's hard to find.